Greetings and salutations. Welcome to SeptumSin versus the world. I'm SeptumSin and I'm here with Kotobukijake.
Hi.
We've gotten some nice pickups this week and some stuff. Actually, I don't have much in the news to talk about. I mean, Right Stuff has done a couple of flash sales that are of, kind of, the things. They've had some back-to-school sales.
All right.
I can't think of anything mostly at note. Have you heard of any news that you'd like to talk about, like as far as physical releases or sales or anything like that?
Well, actually, one of Right Stuff's theme sales harkens back to one of our recent pickups because they did a foodie sale.
Oh, yeah.
The whole important idea from before. Last night, this is apparently very early, and I hope Amazon may have jumped the gun, so I'm hoping I'm not. But they put up a listing. They don't have a street date yet, but they put up a listing and said Shout Factory is releasing, but it's not on Shout Factory's site yet or on Right Stuff. But Amazon put up a listing for one of last year's most acclaimed anime films. It's called In This Corner of the World. And apparently it's a drama set in Hiroshima during World War II.
Oh, yeah.
So you can imagine it's being compared, of course, to Grave of the Fireflies, and I doubt it's going to be a pick-me-up, but it's supposed to be a really good movie.
It's hard to get darker in Grave of the Fireflies.
Yeah, it can be done. I'm really looking forward to that one coming out, but I'm waiting for final confirmation of an actual street date or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my main news of releases. Oh, well, that's an idea.
We got Dry Times.
Yeah, a little bit. There is some good stuff coming up, but we've already heard of most of it. But anyway.
Winter is coming.
Yes. Yes, it is.
And with it, the sales. Well, technically not winter sales, more like late fall, early winter sales.
Yes.
But that's really when the huge ones. We are in that kind of dry spell where most of the summer sales are there. There might be a couple of Labor Day sales that's coming up. But yeah, I feel like there's that dry spell. I mean, have you noticed that there seems to be like a longer dry spell between this time and say November-ish when they start to prepare for, I guess, the mega sales.
Which is probably fine because we need
I need a break, from any of this.
We definitely do. Both of us, yeah. So anyway, my first pickup for the week is, I think he's already made a point of, I don't know about made a point, but has had a couple of, we've done our previews, and then he's come in with the item the next week or thereafter. This is not exactly one we picked up, but it's the same title. I think a week or two ago we talked about the Season 3 release of Gotham. And I still don't have that, but I finally have Seasons 1 and 2.
Wow.
I got brand new Blu-ray.
Those are cool releases.
Yeah, they are. And these are, they're the Blu-ray. They're in a regular size Blu-ray, slightly bigger than usual Blu-ray.
Cardboard sleeve there.
Yeah, so that's pretty good for people like me that are space conscious for their stuff. It's, as we said in the previous video, Gotham has its flaws, but it still is a pretty fun show, and I enjoy it, and I do think that I'm very much looking forward to revisiting these seasons. Actually, this was a direct outgrowth of preparing for that video. Sometimes it can be dangerous to do too much homework. Basically, I looked up Season 3 on Amazon, and they put up the, people who buy this also, and I happened to see that Season 1 was on sale for $13.
Wow, good.
And I was like,
yeah.
I gotta do that. And Season 2 was $15.
Wow.
So that was like, not bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I could probably do better if I waited till Black Friday, but that's not bad. So, got that to look forward to, and I got that out of my system, so when Black Friday comes, I'll have more to spend on Season 3, Flash, Supergirl, Arrow.
Black Friday is traditionally when I pick up my DC shows, and I mean, I've got the DVD releases of Gotham, $10 a season. That first season, I mean, the second season isn't too bad. It's about that size, just a little bit taller, but that first season's like thick. And I'm like, waste of space.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's another, I think we touched on this on the other video we made tonight. I'm not just space conscious, but I'm also trying to become more conscious of not getting sets that are too much a waste of resources.
Yeah.
So it's another reason why I'm starting to be more open to multi-movie sets. I used to not like doing that, but I'm becoming much more open to that.
Yeah.
And TV sets that are like complete series sets rather than, I'm much more
rather
open.
than like volume 1 through 9,000 of a series.
Yeah. So this is still individual seasons, but it's fairly condensed, which is nice.
I want to collect One Piece in 4-episode chunks.
Who are you and what have you done with
And I want each set to be massive, each one having one episode per DVD. That would be that's harkening back to the old nightmare days.
Oh, jeez, yeah.
Back when anime was coming out, you'd get a VHS tape. Okay, it's a little bit... Okay, well, the VHS tape would have 1 to 2 episodes on it.
Half the people that watch YouTube don't know how big a VHS tape is.
Yeah, whatever. But, it would be like 1 to 2 episodes on it. And if you bought the regular English dub, it would be like $25.
Right.
And if you bought the sub, it would be $35 to $40. So, when you think about it, Aniplex prices aren't that expensive comparatively. It kind of harkens back to the old days of anime when,
These are the good old days.
I mean, like a set like Ranma's like 70-some episodes, I think, or something like that. Or is it more than that? I can't remember. No, more than that.
Yeah, I think Ranma's like
90-some?
No, I think Ranma was about 150.
Imagine collecting that in 2-episode chunks on VHS. Or Dragon Ball Z. That's how they released Dragon Ball Z originally.
That's some crazy there.
So, I mean, I actually think that'd be a great video. It actually is taking some cases and showing examples of how you can consolidate the collection, what cases are great, what cases that are environmentally sound that should be avoided. Like, I hate the paper cases that Futurama is in, because those are basically, let's scratch the DVD cases. And,
on the other hand, well, it's debatable if paper is better than plastic.
I mean, I like that some of those paper sets, they use less paper to do it, but some of them, they're made to scratch the darn thing.
Not only that, the Futurama sets, and a lot of these paper sets, but the Futurama sets definitely, you can not put anything on top of them. Oh, no. They can only be stored vertically. So, and that's very, very annoying from a storage perspective.
There's got to be like a happy medium there. I mean, but again, something worth researching for a future like video. Yeah. So mine is going to be a series that, if you guys are actually following the channel, you've already seen my review of this probably, because it did come up. It went live last night, I think.
I think you're right.
And that is Daria, complete series. I got this at Second and Charles. I didn't spend any of my money because I spent birthday money on it. It's part of that large set. I've seen this for $14, and I was too much of a cheapskate to get it. Had I actually seen this series, I would have bought it new. I actually like the series that much. I mean, I bought it for $10. It, to me, is a great deal. I mean, you've got 5 seasons of a series, plus 2 feature-length films on this.
For $10? Not bad.
For $10 on this. And $14 on Amazon or Best Buy. If you go to Walmart, it's actually more expensive, like $17 or $18, which is strange to hear. I can't talk up the series enough. You can see my review of it. I really enjoyed it. I never watched it during its original run. I was kind of leaving high school at the time it started, and I had other priorities. I was more into video games than movies at the time. I started community college. I don't know. Did you see Daria when
I did not. When did it air, or what did it air on?
97 at MTV.
MTV. Yeah, I wasn't watching MTV then.
But
I knew of it.
I mean, it was very popular, and it does reflect a lot of that high school that high school generation of this time. I don't know if it holds up to this generation's high school, because really and truly things are looked at very differently. I mean, what's a nerd these days is very different, and how they're treated is different in some aspects these days. It's and who the jocks are, what those stereotypes, different stereotypes for a different age, I guess. Did you get to see any of this, Matt? Maybe not in the past, but have you seen any of this in the present?
I have no clear memory. Maybe. I'm not sure.
But anyway, it's fun. If you have a chance, you should definitely check it out. It is worth watching.
Sounds good. All right. Well, speaking of shows I haven't yet gotten to see yet that I've heard a lot about. So a couple weeks ago, we talked. I had made quite a interesting television purchase where I managed to pick up a lion's share of two very interesting series, Big Bang Theory and Castle. At the same time those were turned in, there were actually some other TV series offered up as well, and a lot of movies. And one that I put back, but resolved to maybe get at a later date if it was still there, was still there at a later date, so I got it. And this is only one season, but still, one season, $2, well worth getting. This is a show that many of you have probably heard of. This is Vikings, a show that has come out. Where did that air? Is that a shoot? I can't remember what station that came on. But it's one that definitely has gotten a lot of buzz. People have, I've heard a lot of people talking about it. It's interesting, definitely a period piece, obviously. And it has a very interesting cast. I cannot for the life of me remember everyone in it, but, well, not remotely everyone in it, but I want to say Billy Connolly might be in it, but I could be remembering that wrong. There was one big name that I want. Sorry, my memory tonight is not what it could be. But point is, it's and it is another one that's in a simple, thin case. It's nothing too fancy or too space consuming. It's only 9 episodes, but a lot of these. This is some sort of cable station, whichever one it was. Was it Stars?
I don't know why I keep thinking AMC or
FX. It might be any of the above.
One of the above.
Since I don't really watch these things on TV, I don't always remember what channel they're on. But yeah, most of them, the seasons tend to be pretty short.
Like History Channel.
History Channel.
Yeah.
I would not have guessed that.
No one would have guessed that.
I knew it, but I would not have guessed it. But yeah, still 9 episodes. It's supposed to be really good. It's
is that the guy you're thinking about?
Gustav Skarsgård? No, but I think he's Stellan's son, isn't he? Just kind of cool. Yeah. So have you got a cast list there?
Alexander Liu, Travis, Clive.
Linus Roche may be one of the ones I was thinking of.
Well.
Oh, man, this is... Oh, Jessalyn Gilsig. That was one of the ones.
Okay.
Jessalyn Gilsig, who had a recurring role on Heroes, is one of the co-stars. Yeah. So, yeah, that one.
It's about Vikings.
Yes. If you didn't guess from the title.
not Vikings, because that's what I originally read when I read it. Vikings is the low-budget one that they did.
Obviously. Yes.
So, this next one, I'm only going to flash it up briefly because it might be inappropriate. It's not really inappropriate because as I look closer to the picture, it's just more the connotations of it. I am a what do they call it, connoisseur of the bad and the terrible. When it comes to jumping at films, I jump less and less at films that are good until I've seen it, or mediocre until I've seen it. But I will jump at films that are terrible.
You could even say
before I see it.
You could even say you jumped the shark on this one.
Yes, I did. Boy, this is even worse than the other.
Oh,
all right,
God.
so I'm going to flash this a little bit, but keep in mind that this is actually a plastic shark here on the cover, not what you might think it is. So this is a film called Dickshark. It is what it it is what it is. I can't actually flash the back of this because it would probably earn me a strike, but the first is just basically a plastic shark painted
And you
flesh
laughed
color.
at badass.
It's just... I saw this and I had to get it. Now, what strikes me as odd is the length of this thing. It's 2 hours and 24 minutes. Yeah, okay, it was.
2 hours and...
2 hours and
Jeez.
24 minutes long. Usually
man.
things like this are like 80 minutes, 60 minutes. Not like over 2 hours. No.
It's the Peter Jackson cut.
It's, I mean, a killer, a killer shark attached to a man and stuff. I guess maybe it's like the sequel to Teeth. If any of you are familiar with that movie,
I guess.
because you know what teeth are, the dentata, basically it's the opposite. It's sort of like the other portion of that. I think that's enough talking about that particular movie.
I have no words.
Apparently, I'm rambling on with too many words on this particular film. I think I've given it too much time already.
Okay.
Yeah, move on to something more wholesome.
And now for something completely different.
Actually, if you had had the next one in line, or either of those two last ones, that would not be that much more wholesome. But that one definitely, that definitely fits what we need right now.
Okay, from a borderline obscene, weird choice. We're going to go all the way back to 1960s American television. You don't get much more wholesome white bread than that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, way. This is a show that I really never had necessarily envisioned getting from my collection, but as a collector, seeing an entire season of an important, well-known show for $2, especially when I looked up some of the people that show up in it.
Oh, it's a good series.
I'm a collector of credits. I have never seen this show, but I know of it. But this is a series from the late 60s. It's only the first season. It's a series from the late 60s called That Girl. And it is apparently a prototype of the woman at the center of the action series. Yeah. I know you're a huge Mary Tyler Moore fan.
Oh, yeah.
And
it's in that vein.
Ally McBeal, Murphy Brown are listed on the back of here as well. They're all pretty fun shows. Mm-hmm. I'm sure if I enjoy this one as much as those, I'll enjoy it. Being even earlier than Mary Tyler Moore, I have my doubts. But one fascinating thing about this, and it's one of the things that made my decision, as I have mentioned a few times, I am slowly trying to get through Boardwalk Empire. This show, the first season of this show, and the first season of Boardwalk Empire actually share a co-star. Because both seasons feature Dabney Coleman in a co-starring role.
And they're both identical in format.
Oh,
and
yeah. You can't get much more simple. No. But I'm always fascinated by seeing actors at very different ends of their career. And what fascinates me more, I need to look it up. I have confirmed with one, but not with both. But according to IMDb, two of the people who showed up early in the series that I believe are both in this season that I would not have expected to pick up in this show. There is, I've confirmed it, a Richard Dreyfuss credit, and there is apparently a George Carlin credit. Mm-hmm. So that's pretty cool too. So once again, another season of television, unusually cheap, not one that was on my radar entirely, but well worth having for a collection.
I actually am familiar because I used to be a big Nick at Night person when I was in my teens, which is kind of uncool, I guess, in my teens. That I like to watch lots of old shows, but I liked that girl. I thought it was fun. I really liked Mary Tyler Moore, the show, and I have all of Mary Tyler Moore, which is actually interesting because it started off with a lot of those thicker type sets, but then came to the thinner type sets, which eventually I wouldn't mind of having all of Mary Tyler Moore in the thin type sets, just like with my Frasier and my Cheers. I would love to downsize on those as well with that. But my next one, actually, our next two are going to be very themed because this one is Stephen King, and I got these because it kind of connects but doesn't really connect with Carrie, which is the Firestarter double feature. So you got Firestarter and then Firestarter 2 Rekindled. It's kind of interesting because Firestarter came out in the 1980s and Rekindled came out in the early 2000s. He's playing with his life. But I looked at it, Malcolm McDowell's in it. In the thing, and you've got Drew Barrymore. So, you can't really go too wrong in that. And these actually do have...
I don't know about that.
The first one actually does have a very good rep. The second one, maybe not so much. But still, it's something that I've been wanting. I'm actually a huge Stephen King fan. I was going to watch The Dark Tower until I saw the reviews, and now I'm kind of afraid to watch The Dark Tower because I like the series so much. But he's attacking your stuff. But this, again, big Stephen King fan. Glad to get a hold of this. 2 movies for one. Good work on that.
Yeah, and Firestarter is one I'm very curious about. I've never seen Foo.
What is in there that you want so much?
Well, I was trying to keep that manga protected since it's a nice, crisp new copy.
Get some cat-like prints.
Yeah. But, yeah, Firestarter is on my to-do list. I need to read more Stephen King. I've read some of his stuff, and I've seen a lot of his stuff, and they don't always sync up.
Yeah.
But I definitely want to try and get more done. But that one, though, I can't help but see that title. It always reminds me of that one Takahashi one that needs to get released.
Fire Tripper.
Fire Tripper, yes. I loved Fire Tripper. I thought it was really good. Yes, we need a Rumic World one-shot collection yesterday. But anyway...
you've also got some...
So, yes. Okay, so interesting backstory here. He mentioned in previous videos that Criterion sale at Barnes & Noble was extended. And over about a week ago, I finally gave in and went to see if it was still going. And I'd missed it. But I managed to get out of Barnes & Noble without buying anything. And then I went to Second & Charles and managed to get out of there without buying anything. And then I went to Walmart and managed to get out of there without buying anything. And then that night, I ordered Gotham online, along with one of the items that I had seen at Walmart that I wanted. And I saved a couple dollars and got to order from Amazon, which is slightly less evil than Walmart. But only slightly.
Only slightly.
But anyway, Walmart had several collections that tempted me. And I was very cool. We were talking before about complete series collections. They had complete series collections of Twin Peaks, Legend of Korra, Taxi, and Becker, all of which are on my to-get list.
Yeah.
They were all relatively affordable. They also had a multi-disc set of 3 TV movie miniseries by Stephen King. An essential, a well-known one, and one that I really don't know anything about. And I was like, this is cool. It was $15, so I ended up getting it for about $12.50 on Amazon.
I've seen all 3 of those.
I have not seen any of them, but I have read one. And
this is the first one.
No, and I need to. It's one reason why I got this.
I'll go for it.
But anyway, it's called Stephen King's triple feature. Yeah, and it features The Stand.
Watch that. There he goes.
There we go. The Stand, The Langoliers, and Golden Years. Out of the bunch, Golden Years is the longest one. It's 7 episodes. I don't really know much about it. I do know it features Stephen Root and some other very interesting actors. And that's about all I have to say about that. The Langoliers is better known. It's one I've never read, but it's got a little bit of a reputation. It's one that I'm very curious about, and I think that was a 2-part. And apparently you have something to say on that, so I'm curious. And The Stand. The Stand is one of his highest-rated TV productions ever. It is one of his highest-rated movies ever made. And it's based on an awesome book. I have read The Stand, and it's a great book. I can't speak too highly of it. It is one of his better books. The movie features Gary Sinise, Molly Ringwald, and a handful of other folks. It was a 4-part.
I can't remember because I've only watched it as the whole.
I definitely, all 3 of these I'm very interested in watching. Technically, I cannot watch it alphabetically for a long, long, long time. But now that I own it, my hope is, I'm thinking I'm probably going to crack out The Stand in October, because I like to do horror-themed stuff in October, and that'll give me an excuse to finally watch it. But, yeah, so this was a major get for my Stephen King collection.
I kind of envy you that collection, because it's very compact. I don't have Golden Years. I actually don't. I've seen it, but I don't have it. And Langoliers, it's infamous more than famous. It's more for the end. Let's just say that CGI was not that time period's fortitude, and we'll leave it at that. But
so it was a 95 production that looked like it was made in 84?
It was just well, like I said, you have to see it to understand it. But I thought that the concept was good. It's just, you more want to laugh at the monster than really consider them as threats. In The Stand, one of the best Stephen King movies of all time. TV movies, I should say. I mean, when you got Stephen King, one day I'll probably do one of my favorite Stephen King ones. There were some really good ones on the list. I mean, I love Stand By Me, I love Shawshank Redemption, Green Mile, excellent films. But if you're going by TV movies, there's not a ton of greatness to choose from. I do like I'm one of the few who likes the TV version of The Shining, because Stephen King is all about character development.
Yeah.
And most people don't get that. They think Stephen King is all about scares. No, it's about character development.
The TV version is so much better than the movie.
Which is why, with The Shining, for instance, which is why he hated The Shining that Kubrick did. Because Kubrick wanted to focus in on the stairs and the scares and the stairs. No, he used the elevators. But basically in the aesthetics. He was more in the aesthetics and the actual scary nature of it, but the characters were developed very poorly. Whereas in the other one, it's not so many scares, but the characters were excellently developed. The same goes with The Stand. I mean, I really liked their take on Randall Flagg. I'm very curious how Matthew McConaughey's take on Flagg is going to turn out. So I am there. I mean, yeah, you've got one of the better ones, in my opinion. It doesn't quite do the book justice, but no movie would do the book justice.
Especially when the book's like that thick.
Yeah. I mean, I actually feel like they didn't do Harold the justice that they had, and some of the other ones that were out there, but still.
No, with everything they're remaking and redoing, you would think that someone would have picked up The Stand for a full season series by now.
Well, some movies, like It, they don't need to be fully oriented to the book. I mean, it has like a have you read it?
No,
Well,
I need to.
But
I'm curious about the movie.
There is a scene in it where the kids all have to have sex with the underage girl, one after the other, in order to get out alive. I'm not lying in this, and this is sad. And that to me, it kind of like, okay, everything else is excellent, and then you dump this crap.
I doubt that's going to be in the movie.
Not if they want to keep it legal. So, but mine, another scary movie, one that I want to do a review on in the future, which is The Fog. This is actually an oldie but goodie. A John Carpenter film. Sad to see his loss. Actually, I believe John Carpenter passed, right?
I think so.
I keep mixing them up, or maybe he's still alive. I don't know. One of them's dead.
But only one.
But a lot of our horror icons have died, Romero and all that.
Yeah.
But this is an excellent John Carpenter film. Shout Factory decided to partner with Best Buy, who loves steelbooks. I'm not really sure that steelbooks are great for the environment, but I guess it can't be any worse than plastic.
Probably not.
And I don't know, there's something about a steelbook that's just like, ooh, I love you, steelbook.
Well, I saw they put out a steelbook of Fargo, and I have to admit, I'm tempted.
And they did these limited runs, 10,000 copies each of Fargo, The Fog, come on, Escape from New York, and what's the one where they actually get the special sunglasses and then they see They Live. And these are just like I said, 10,000 copies. They didn't sell that fast, so they're actually not too hard to get a hold of, but they are still rare and exceptional. I like The Fog. I had never seen it before, but your standard pirate ghost film, and I don't know what it is, but it reminded me of the one film that scared me the most when I was a kid, which was
he's still around.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
I knew one of them was still around, so it's the one who did Freddy Krueger that died. Yeah.
Well,
but yeah, Wes Craven. Wes Craven's the one who died. But reminds me of the Garfield Halloween special, which,
that's what
by
I
the
was
way,
thinking when you said Ghost Pirates.
was my that was my actual that was the scary thing for me when I was little, because I hated horror when I was a little kid, and I didn't really grow to like horror until I was well into adulthood, well into my 20s. So this here, very good. If you can find these and you don't have them already, the problem is I have all the others, and I have them in sets that I want to keep. My Fargo is in my Coen Brothers collection, which I want to just keep as is. My Escape from New York is a special edition, and They Live as a part of my kick-ass John Carpenter collection. So, it's there. Have you seen The Fog yet?
I have not. I've seen some John Carpenter, but I have not seen...
I used to think it was a remake of The Mist, or The Mist was a remake of it, which is totally off.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's my turn?
Yes, sir.
All right. So, I've done all my pickups for the week, but I'm going to go ahead and review briefly comment on one of the shows that I'm currently watching. And speaking of horror, we have something here that can be very horrifying for you depending on where you are on the political spectrum. You will either be horrified by the antics of Stan Smith or horrified by the existence of Seth MacFarlane. One or the other. but I personally, American Dad is, in my mind, the best MacFarlane animated show out there.
MacFarlane is extremely shy about his political beliefs and his thing. I mean,
you could never guess, especially with this one. No, but it's basically. I personally think that this show has more focus and tells its jokes better than Family Guy does. The original run of Family Guy, before they canned it, was great. That was classic.
Now it's hit or miss.
Now it's hit or miss. I mean, now it's like Simpsons level hit or miss. I mean, it's kind of... this one, I haven't seen the recent seasons really of any of his shows, so I'm not really sure. And I haven't gotten to see the new live action one, The Orville. It looks interesting. But I think it's a fun show. I enjoy watching it now and then. I've been moving at a snail's pace just because my current circumstances have not let me just sit down and watch it. But I've only got a few episodes left of this volume. This was one, it's volume 2. I only have 2 volumes of the series. I got it dirt cheap. I'm hoping to get more, but this is one of those shows. Family Guy's the same way. There's so many volumes that you have to be cheap if you're going to collect them.
It's like 13 now, 14 a Family Guy now.
Something like. Is it only 14? I thought it was a lot more than that.
No, it's not that much more. I've got the entire release now. They took forever to release volume 14.
Yeah. So these are basically. They're good shows. They're a lot of fun. Seth MacFarlane is unabashedly liberal, and that does pass through in his form of humor. But he doesn't trash both sides as much as Trey Parker and Matt Stone do. They make fun of everybody. And I love their joke on Family Guy, the whole manatee thing. I love that. But it's and consistently, I think that those shows are a little funny. The Simpsons is kind of kind of gone downhill.
Well, Simpsons are kind of but they did predict our president.
That's not always a good thing.
No,
in this case, it's not a good thing. But anyway, that's I just like I said, I'm gonna as I run low on items to share that are new. I am starting to bring in more of the stuff I'm working on, or if I run through that, then recent pickups that haven't been covered.
Yeah, and that's the concept. Yeah. I'm hoping to when I get through. I had like a huge run the last 3 months of just pickups because I went crazy on the sales, and I have a big old stack. And again, I showed that in my my collection tour. And if you haven't seen my collection tour, what are you waiting for? Yeah. We hit our subscriber numbers, and I have rewarded you with a collection tour.
You're up to what, 14 now?
I don't know. It's a good. It's nice though. It's nice having people who may be watching, and I've had a couple people who've told me that they've watched and they've enjoyed it, and I'm hoping that we can continue to bring quality stuff. That's why I'm encouraging you, of course, to think of some stuff to exercise your cinematic knowledge. And hopefully forward the interest in producing lower budget cinema,
right?
Or even higher budget cinema, but we're not going to influence that. I would like to.
You never know. I mean, if our baiting of Spike Lee and some of the others a couple weeks ago yields any results,
I would like to. If I had had my input, I would have, for instance, totally had a revamping of that Ghost in the Shell movie, so it would not be what it was.
Yeah.
I'm kind of sorry that Scarlett Johansson got into that. Talking about unfortunate roles for her.
Yeah.
She did look very good in the part, but I feel like her heart wasn't in it from what I saw of it already. I've seen parts of it.
She was probably sensitive to the criticism too. It's unfortunately, if you do read my blogs, you will know that one theme that I keep coming back to, and maybe I'm a little too, maybe I'm harp on it a little much, but I believe strongly that Hollywood in general, and the Oscars in particular, are very heavily racist against Asians. And Ghost in the Shell is a great example of that. Yeah. They have a lot of Asians in supporting cast, including a couple big names, but that would have been the role of the major would have been a great role for Rinko Kikuchi or Chiaki Koriyama or one of those other moderately well-known people who are well-known back home. But you didn't need to get a top-name American star, because
there are plenty of.
They would have made as much with Rinko Kikuchi, because there would not have been as many people staying away in protest.
Well, I mean, it's interesting how it will go. I mean, actually, I would have been interested in to see how Keanu Reeves would have handled.
For the
Cowboy
record,
Bebop.
I love Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah,
for the
I
record.
know.
Yeah, well, I don't want to see Keanu as... No, I don't want to see Keanu as
But you see,
Spike.
he genuinely loves the subject matter,
Yes.
and having a genuine love for it does do it. And
Cowboy Bebop is a series where you can have mostly Western actors, and it would work.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of... I mean, it's just like, I want to say, was it Faye? I can't think.
Faye.
I think she's supposed to be Hispanic. But,
Did they specify?
See, again, I need to double check.
I don't know.
But, it's definitely a series. I mean, he did John Wick, and from what I've heard, he was very good at that.
Yeah.
And Spike doesn't have to be super emotional in his dialogue.
He does have some, though.
He does, but again, it'd be interesting. But like Doctor Strange, good example of whitewashing.
Yeah.
And they say, well, that's to reduce on the Asian stereotypes, but they still used Asian stereotypes. So I really don't see where the protection was.
And then like Disney claiming they couldn't find Asians who could sing and dance for Aladdin. Yeah, really?
Well,
Bollywood. But I mean, and then they cast Will Smith. I mean, first of all, how are you going to replace Robin Williams? I mean, but this is an opportunity to do something unexpected.
They had a good guy in, what's his name? The guy who did the voice of the genie in the second one, Return of Jafar.
I don't remember. Was it when the Dan Castellaneta?
I can't remember who his name was, but he did an excellent job.
I think he did.
Because you had a hard time telling that wasn't Robin Williams.
Dan Castellaneta is a good voice actor.
So all he needs a voice actor for the part.
Yeah,
it should be CG mostly anyway when it comes to Genie.
That's true. You don't necessarily need. I mean, in fact, you probably don't want him to live actiony. Well, whatever.
I do have one more before we wrap up, and this one actually we're ending on a high note. When it comes to stuff, which is Hiroshima Mon Amour. This is a Criterion, bought off of the Criterion sale. Again, it's part of that French New Wave. I actually thought it was a really cool thing. It actually talked about the bombing itself and weaved a love story around that. You were talking about an anime doing something similar to that, and this is this here is a classic. I keep thinking of the critics saying, I love French films, boring, pretentious French films, but I actually think that the French do know how to really craft a story. They know how to really weave relationships together. So
plus, it's only an hour and a half long.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very much looking forward to seeing that one.
Yeah, I need to see this. This is like you were saying, this is widely regarded as one of the great films.
And it was only $14 on the Criterion sale.
Really?
Yeah, because that's the advantage. If you get the DVDs, a lot of them are now going down to 14, and the Blu-rays to 20. Yeah. So that makes it. Some of the DVDs, like say Armageddon, were even less than 10. It is worth checking out if you want to get something good. So with that, I wish you all well. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you like us, of course, hit the like button, share, subscribe, comment, do all those fun things. We're very quick at it. Both of us do monitor the comment section, so if you comment, one of us should reply. So, have a good one.
Have a good one.